anticipation of the race start. Crews starting to come off of the grid as we are getting close to the warm-up lap here in this race. And Jason, fans are out here. Of course, some of them like to sit in the stands, but there are plenty of places to view the race here at Sonoma Raceway. And motorcycle parking absolutely packed. The paddock was just streaming with people. It was absolutely incredible.
Got tons of RVs up on all the hills. Heard that all the RV spots were actually sold out for this event, which is great. So it's so good that all the Northern California people and people that have come from further distances have come here and supported this race. It's a great venue to be at. It's a place that we should be racing. You know, Sonoma over the years has tried to make the track safer for the motorcycles. They do a lot of events here. AFM obviously is a huge series that they run up here. Let's look at our Dunlop starting grid. Garrett Gerloff on pole, JD Beach, Valentin DeBees rounding out our first row, Benny Solis, Alex Phillips, and we see Daytona Anderson. I'm looking down, Greg. I don't see him on his grid spot. I heard he's not feeling very well, so he may not start this race. Row 3, Braden Ortt. We just got done talking to him. Jason Uribe, Jason Aguilar, our points leader in Superstock with a great job in second yesterday. Row 4, keep an eye on some of the guys in this one. Andrew Lee, Dion Campbell, and Michael Gilbert were all involved in that battle yesterday. Andrew's looking for the podium, and Michael's looking to try to beat Jason and get up on the podium and win this race. Ashton Yates, another guy involved in that. Nick McFadden, I expect to see him moving himself more forward today. Shane Richardson, our pick in Superstock. Andy DeBrino in row 6. Ezra Bobier, Jody Berry on the outside of row 6. We've got a huge grid here. Brandon Cleland, who I talked to this morning, he rode a street bike around here for his first time a couple of months ago, enjoying the track. Brandon Crawford, JC Camacho. Row 8, Xavier Zayat, Connor Blevins, and Jarrett Nassani. Glad to see Jarrett out there after a little mishap yesterday. Caroline's a scratch for this event. Nolan Lampkin, Gage Reese on row 9, Mark Rhodes, Josh Picard, Trevor Noguera, row 10. And then we have some more people that actually qualified through the thing. We got Luke Luciano, Daniel Diaz was our last qualifier on time, David De Silva, Jovan Benton, John Knowles, Greg Sharp, and I believe Bruce Bleeker is going to row, and row 13 was our final qualifier and the last chance qualifier.
So 37 spots on the grid available to fill. Looks like 2 riders might not start. For sure, Caroline Olsen will not be competing in this one, but we're underway on our warm-up lap in this race, and this is the opportunity to get all the heat you can in the tires. And this is the final race of the weekend here at Sonoma Raceway for the Supersport Superstock 600 class. And as we get there, Jason, Kawasaki keys to the race. What are you thinking these Kawi keys to the race are going to be?
Well, you know, the big thing for me is, will there be a big gap at the front this morning in morning warm-up? I couldn't really tell by the times if anybody had really improved because the times were off a little bit. Garrett went 37.9, the Bees went 38.1. They kind of did low 38s, but I think that JD is going to have to really step up today to try to close this gap at the front. So far, to me, Garrett has just showed so much pace. It's made it harder. So that said, my second key to the race is, what's JD's strategy? You know, you said in our pre-race show that he's going to be able to determine it from the start, like as soon as he lets the clutch out. He's going to have to really disrupt Garrett's rhythm today. That's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to do everything he can to keep putting himself in a position to go past back Garrett if he's going to want to try to break up that flow. So for me, that's what I was looking at. And can Orup be our 4th double winner in Superstock? We heard Hannah talk to him earlier. I have every belief that he can, with the only exception that there's about 7 or 8 of these Superstock riders that are all within the same second. And it was a big Congo line. It's going to be who can make the least amount of mistakes. Braden had such a great run yesterday and keeping himself in those first or second spots in Superstock. I believe that the further you are going back, the harder it's going to be to get back up at the front.
And of course, in Superstock 600, we weren't at round 1 of the MotoAmerica Championship. So race action for point scoring started at Road Atlanta. So we have had 5 different race winners in 5 different weekends so far. Actually 6 different, as Jason Aguilar won that single race we had at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. So can Braden Ortt do the double here and continue the streak? It's going to be very difficult today in the Superstock 600 class, as much as it's going to be difficult for JD Beach to put his teammate Garrett Gerloff behind him. Very important, because Gerloff has a flow to this racetrack that if JD or Valentin DeBees on that M4X Star Suzuki can disrupt the flow, this could be an entirely different race as it was yesterday. Upper left-hand part of your screen, red lights on. When they go off, the hammer goes and we're racing.
Yep, and JD got the start he wanted, Greg. He got the start he needed. Benny Solis is going to try to go up around the outside of Garrett. It looks like as they head up to turn 2. Garrett fends that off. It's going to be JD Beach leading up into turn 2. Exactly what he needed to do. Benny Solis did stuff it underneath.
Wow.
And now Valentin DeBees goes go through also, and Alex Phillips is trying to go around the outside with Jason Uribe 6th, and you can see Braden North and Jason Aguilar, our first 2 guys in Superstock, right back there in 6th and 7th. But JD Beach has done exactly what he had needed to do, and he's got 2 guys between him and Garrett.
Shout out to Helicraft Racing's Alex Phillips from Australia. The motor blew up earlier today. They were able to get that thing going just in time for him to start this race. So a great job of the 248's crew back there running well within the top 10.
I know Benny made some changes to that bike. He also made some changes to his ideas of a couple of lines around this track overnight. You can see Garrett trying to go underneath him. Benny's still going to be able to hold on to third, and you can see a breakaway from these 4 guys already right off the bat. And it's going to be interesting to see what Garrett's strategy is here. He's got 19 laps. He can take his time. He knows he's got pace. I don't see this group being broke up the way it was yesterday with Garrett leading. I can see those first 3 guys kind of staying together a little bit as Garrett goes underneath Benny as they head into turn 9.
So Garrett Gerloff closing up there will take that spot. Now he's got Valentin DeBees right in front of him. So the Monster Energy Yamalu YS Graves Yamaha rider, Garrett Gerloff, the #1 plate, trying to repeat this championship, has got 9 points over his teammate who leads the way right now. But Valentin, JD Beach a little bit wide on that exit, is able to get a turn, but Valentin DeBees got the thing up on the meat of the tire. And a good drive side by side into one. And it's, Valentin's trying to go on the outside. JD holds on to it.
It's just way too hard, Greg, to do something in turn 1. Everybody's so close to the same speed, but you can see here that JD Beach is just trying to stay steady, try to keep that lead. He knows Garrett Gerloff's going to be back there. He's going to see +0 on his board for as long as he's up front. He will see it, whether it's DeBees or Garrett. That's going to be the key. And you can see these guys are just now starting to drop Benny off just a little bit. And there you go. Valentin runs just a little bit wide, opens up that door for Garrett, and that's all he's going to need to get through. He's able to just put that bike absolutely anywhere, Greg. JD goes into the, you can see how tight Garrett goes in there. That's his line. That's his normal line in there every single time. He runs it out a little bit, gets a great drive out of here. I think that the next spot that he's going to be close enough to do something is going to be turn 9 after they come down through the S's. He's going to follow him into here into turn 7, and you can see JD's already running defensive lines on his entries. But if Garrett gets a really good run down through these S's, expect something at the end of him in turn 9. Right now, he's a little bit too far back.
JD Beach got the start he wanted. Now he's controlling the pace.
Wow, he closed up a lot on him through that turn.
Right?
Look at that.
What a run.
Garrett ran up on him so fast in that right, Greg. He outbroke him even before they got to the braking zone.
That was incredible. He just drove right around him.
And look at an immediate gap. I mean, literally his bike so far has been able to just do whatever he wants, wherever he wants with it. And JD's already thinking about, all right, I got to go stuff it up underneath him right now. But he's just too far back, and this next lap's going to be the tell. He's already got a little bit of a gap, and yeah, I know 0.3 doesn't seem like a lot, but he's done that in 3 corners. So JD's going to have to do everything he can to hang on right this second, and if it's not, he's going to have to just try to take it to where he can get no less than 5 points to separate these 2 by the end for the end of the race. In other words, he's going to have to just try to hold on to second and fend off DeBees. You can see this guy here has just got such a flow around this track, and once he gets clear track, he's using more exit there. You can just put the bike anywhere, Greg.
And going through traffic, having to pass a couple of these top guys, Jason, 37.5, so only 0.3 of a second off of his qualifying pace for Garrett Gerloff.
I just love watching him come into the carousel here, Greg. He's so tight on his entry, but what it does is it allows him to maximize his speed through turn 5. He comes over the hill, loads his bike, going over those bumps, and he's able to just turn it right in there. And the thing is that it's just too easy for him. I mean, to come through the guys he just came through, and as quickly as he did it, it's just too simple. And his goal now will be, let's see how big of a gap I can open up so that when I get into traffic, hopefully I can have a bit of a gap. That said, JD is the best at being able to hang on to somebody, and you can see his bike shaking so much back there. He's not using as much exit as Garrett on the exit of that turn. Also, I did just see Alex Phillips pull into the pits below us, Greg.
Unfortunately for the Australian rider, it might be over for him as that crew worked frantically to get that bike. But up front here, Garrett Gerloff leads the way. He just did a 37.59. And now, as he comes across the line, trying to make that break that Jason was talking about, a 37.128. So right back there, a 37.128, so already a 1/10 of a second quicker than his qualifying time. JD Beach yesterday went 37.5, which was much quicker than his qualifying time, and he's equaled that. And it seems to be the limit with JD Beach right now, is JD's race strategy paid off on the first lap. With Garrett Gerloff, Jason, he got into some unmarked, uncharted territory because Garrett didn't really know how well his bike was going to race.
Yep.
But he made quick work of this crew, and now he's setting sail.
It just looks, you know, like you said, Greg, it just looks so simple for him to put his bike wherever he needs to put it. And, you know, for right now, you know, but see, this is what kind of happens. JD gets behind him, and DeBees, both these guys are in the 7s. They're both consistently in the 37s. And he's able to, you know, they're able to kind of hang on to Garrett. The hardest thing is to be able to do these lap times consistently over and over and over. And I feel like Garrett, his job's a little bit easier at the front doing it than it is of the guys chasing him. And when you have that carrot in front of you, sometimes it's easy to do the lap times. But you'll see out of here, Garrett's bike, look how, actually JD's bike looked good there too. Last lap, JD's bike was a little bit more just shaking coming up over the top of that rise. But you can see, he's just kind of barely getting away right now.
Garrett Gerloff's bike looking pretty good. And talking to Oliver Hutchinson, his crew chief, we talked about the balance of this motorcycle, Jason. The balance between getting that motorcycle to get over the bumps and the twitchiness of the R6 in terms of making it go back and forth. This is the one racetrack where the R6 has been, quote unquote, a handful. And it's a handful often, or at least around this track, because of the way the asphalt is right now. Here's back to this. This is a Supersport rider right here, number 36, Jason Uribe. He's in 5th, but this is what we saw yesterday, because right behind him, number 555, is Braden Ort in the Superstock 600 class, and he's racing it up with Jason Aguilar, Shane Richardson, Andrew Lee, Nick McFadden.
Yep, and they're all in that same order again. And there's going to be more guys coming to the party, because looking back behind them, there's still some guys that are trying to organize themselves a little bit to move closer to them. And yesterday we saw this group, and you can see Nick McFadden doing a great job just trying to hang on to the back of these leaders. As you see Shane Richardson trying to go underneath Aguilar as they go into the carousel. Two completely different lines there from those two riders. And but right now, it's the same kind of thing that we had yesterday. Uribe's kind of leading this big pack of Superstock riders, and as the pace continues to quicken, we'll see if they're able to get by Jason at all, or if he can hold steady there in 5th overall.
555 Braden Ort out of Calgary, Canada, on the tuned racing Yamaha R6.
There's a good look at Andrew Lee.
Andrew Lee out of Clovis, California, on the Andrew Lee Racing Tri-County Power Sports motorcycle.
Yeah, and he's been doing the series, but he's been racing AFM up here also. He's got some time up in Northern California, especially being as close. So you got those 4 guys. You got Nick McFadden just right behind him, just trying to close that gap up. And great to see Nick fighting on, because we've watched him win races this year and be a consistent podium finisher. And you know, he's working. I'm looking to see what his lap time was last time by, 40.3. So all these guys right here are in the 40s very consistently.
Left part of your screen, easily distinguishing Supersport from Superstock 600 are the plates. Supersport, the more adjustable of the motorcycles. You can do a lot more to them. White backing with blue numbers, as you can see on Jason Uribe's motorcycle, and then it's that red back with the yellow number plate, or the yellow numbers with the red number plate. That indicates the Superstock 600 presented by Riders Law class.
Now watch down here, because this is where Shane, if he gets close enough going through this next fast right-hander, we get a look at Braden Ort, but just behind him, you're going to see 2 bikes going up over the top of the hill. Look at, they're just in 2 different spots. If he gets that chance to pull up alongside of Jason, he's going to be able to go by him. And all the while, Andrew Lee's sitting there waiting to see what's going to happen between these 2 guys. Right now, we're only on lap 6 of 19. Nobody's really getting away. Everybody can see Braden just right there in front of him in the Superstock battle. So it's a little bit more spaced out than we saw yesterday right now, Greg. If you remember yesterday, these guys were beating on each other pretty heavily right off the bat.
It's still early days, though, Jay. I think when things started to, fuel load started to lighten up, the tires started to get some wear on them. That's when we saw them closing up about halfway through. But it's still a good freight train. As a good look at the number 16 back there. That is Nick McFadden out of Owensboro, Kentucky, on the M4 Med-Age Suzuki. McFadden commenting all weekend long that he's just a little bit off.
Yep.
Can't seem to find it. Legs out here as Jason Uribe continues to lead on a Supersport machine, but he's leading this battle. That is for 5th on the racetrack. Same as we saw yesterday. Garrett Gerloff now 1.1 seconds ahead of JD Beach. Valentin DeBees another 1.3 behind. Beach. So up front, that's what it looks like. So that's why we're concentrating on this battle for 5th right now, as Benny Solis sits 6.9 seconds behind our leader.
And Nick is actually caught back up to the back of these guys now. So he's just off the back of Andrew there just a little bit, but it seems like there's places where he can close in and places where the gap gets pulled on him. But this is the spot that I feel that you know, these guys are just kind of feeling each other out a little bit right now and seeing where things go.
Yeah, I like the maturity of these riders right here. No one is making any aggressive moves, dive bombing when they know that they don't have anything really to prove, or there's a lot more to lose if you just start racing up right now.
Correct. No, you're absolutely right. And there is a maturity level amongst these guys right now, and that could change as it goes. That could definitely change as it gets closer to the end of this race. Jason does a good job of closing up on the back of Braden as they headed into turn 7 there. And yeah, now it's starting to get a little bit closer amongst these guys.
Battle for 5th place. Super Stock 600 podium as Jason Uribe, the 36. He's on a Supersport machine, leads. The 555 Braden Nort, 96 Jason Aguilar, 26 Shane Richardson, 100 Andrew Lee. And here's a look.
Michael Gilbert, Ashton Yates is in that group, Greg. Dion Campbell's in that group. I think that's Andy DeBrino on the back of them. Michael's coming forward also. He just got by Ashton on this lap.
So a good look at Michael Gilbert. He's on the 55 machine. So Gilbert, who was working full time at Sport Rider Magazine, now which has been announced it's closed down. So Gilbert with an opportunity to actually race full time for these last 4 after losing his job because the magazine closed down. Had been writing and working for Sport Rider Magazine until its demise.
And he's second in points right now. He just went the fastest lap of his race, 40.1. And to put that in perspective, Braden Nort, 40.6. Jason Aguilar, 40.5. Michael got another bad start again today, so it's made his job a little bit more difficult. I'm also surprised to see Dion Campbell as far back as he is. He was in this group yesterday, and we know he's still riding with some injuries. This guy, Ashton Yates, was one of our KTM 390 competitors last year, and he's really starting to adapt to the 600. And here we go back at the front, and you can see Garrett Gerloff still leading, but look who's still there, Greg. JD Beach has not let him just go away. Last lap through, 37.9 for Garrett, 38.1 for JD.
So that lead was about 1.1 seconds, now up to 1.3. Hasn't stabilized at all, but Garrett is not putting the hammer down and checking out. JD's still in the mix, and this is where JD Beach, if he can stick around until a few laps to go, he can be deadly and dangerous, because even though JD knows, he can read a sheet and see what kind of times have been going on with Garrett, what type of lap times JD has going on. He said to me earlier today, I'm never out of the race.
No, that's exactly right. And the thing is you got to continue to put pressure. As we get a look at Benny Solis running in 4th place, very by himself right now, running along. I'm just looking to see what he has gone. He has gone 38.4 today. And here we go. These Superstock guys now are knocking on the back door. Jason Uribe doing everything they can to try to go by him into turn 1. But here we go with Benny Solis again going through turn 3 and 3A, Greg.
So Benny Solis looking great on that Honda CBR 600RR. This motorcycle, really, they're behind it because he's the only one in the field at most races. Jason Uribe, battle for 5th. As these riders have closed up on each other like we talked about. Just a moment ago, they were kind of spread apart. We saw this yesterday where Uribe set a pretty good pace, but then as we get to the middle part of the race, starts to drop off ever so slightly, allowing these Superstock 600 riders to close up on him. Braden Nort, with all the pressure put on him by Hannah, and he do the double.
Well, the thing is you're going to see some, if Braden's able to get by Uribe, you're going to see some franticness going on right behind him, because these guys are going to want to go with him. They're not going to want to let Braden just get away. So that's going to be the thing right now in this group, because now they are starting to all bunch up a little bit, and it kind of looks like Jason's, I'm not going to say he's holding them up, but it looks like those other guys have a couple tenths pace on him right now. So it's just going to be a matter of who's going to be able to get up alongside of Jason. But what's going to end up happening is that once somebody does try to attack him, whoever's right behind Braden is going to try to do the exact same thing immediately.
Jason Uribe, the 36th rider. He's out of Napa Valley, California, and he's on that ridiculous racing Yamaha. A little bit going on. so bumping and grinding, and it's starting now.
And this is all a product of not being able to get by Jason Uribe right now. And so what's happening is Aguilar's thinking to himself, if I can get by Braden, I'm going to make a move on Jason as quickly as I can. Everybody wants to be the first one past. So that's why you're going to start to see this frantic action up at the front. And Andrew Lee sitting back there in fourth, very heady right now for teenage kids, sitting up there at the front of the pack. Yesterday we saw him riding up front. He's doing the same thing today. But everyone now is starting to really close down. And in the background, you're going to start to see the number 55 of Michael Gilbert, who just ran his fastest lap again. There he is coming down the hill.
Yep.
He's going to join this pack here in a minute.
So a bit of bumping and grinding going on, starting here on lap 10 of 19. As Jason Aguilar is looking pretty racy at this point. JP, what are you seeing?
He's just going straight to the inside of the turn here, and you're going to see him running to the back, and they're just going to touch a little bit. That's not too big of a deal there, but it can definitely become a big deal. Shane Richardson, if he didn't get a little bit out of shape over that seam, he would have been able to drive past, but he got just enough out of shape where he wasn't able to get the power to the ground. You see the bike wheeling, and here you go again. Here's that group. Now, after that little bit of contact, those 5 guys are going to start to close back up, and now it is a group of 6. Michael Gilbert is on the back now of Nick McFadden, so his charge from, again, very, very deep back in the field. Now he, instead of yesterday, he closed up on these guys with sort of 3 laps to go. Now he's got 7.5, 8 laps to go in this race, where he might become a factor in this also. And he knows, here you go, Jason Aguilar trying again to go underneath Braden Norton. He's going to make this one stick, Greg.
Wow, he got that thing turned quickly, and it looked like Ort may have lost another position. No, Shane Richardson looked like he had the drive for the moment. So now here goes Jason Aguilar. He is on a charge, getting around Braden Norton.
And Jason Aguilar's bike has been really fast this year, but he's been riding amazing. And I really feel like if he can get down through the carousel behind that Supersport bike of Jason Uribe, I think you're going to see him try to do something going into turn 7. And we'll get a replay here. Jason did the exact same thing he did the lap before. Now, Braden was so close to the back of Uribe, he couldn't alter his line to the inside. That's why you're seeing him run wide. He probably had to stand the bike upright a little bit so that he didn't run into the back of Jason. And we saw that role reversed yesterday when Uribe was behind Ort. But right now, you can see Aguilar runs a lot wider line going down into the carousel. So he's going to have to carry all this corner speed. And if he's close enough, he's going to try to do something with Uribe at the end of the straight. But he's not close enough, Greg.
Not this time around anyway, but Uribe continues to lead. This is the battle for 5th you're watching as the 96 of Jason Aguilar has worked his way into 6th spot. Trying to just keep that super stock 600 field behind him as he leads the way in that battle. He's also your championship points leader, 28 ahead of Michael Gilbert, who's now getting close to the back of this. Well, you can see top part of your screen, the 55 is closed in on the 16.
Yep, he is there. And this big grab. Now, my prediction here is that Jason's going to do the exact same thing he did the last time. He's going to just aim right for the apex of turn 11 and try to go by Uribe. Right now, you see if he does it, Greg.
Oh, there he goes up the inside. Uribe's got to stand it up. And there goes a pack of super stock 600 riders right by him.
I told you that's what's going to happen. They're going to, these guys, once they get by, Jason now, he's going to just try to stick with these guys and go. But now Shane Richardson's going to be the next one in line. I knew that pass was going to come. I've seen Jason practice it over and over, but Braden Norton, very heady kid there, he went right with him. When you see somebody get past in front of you, you got to go right with them, Greg, and that's exactly what he did.
How about Jason Aguilar having that pass as a tool in his toolbox right now? Because if we get deep in this race and someone challenges him, he's going to have this.
I love the fact that he's doing that. He's trail breaking off into there, but he's committing very early to the apex, and what he's trying to do is just get up alongside somebody to alter their line. He doesn't really care about passing them before the corner. He just wants to get up alongside of him enough to where he can get past and then outdrive him on the exit. And you see Braden Norton there doing the exact same thing. Now, let's see what's going to happen behind as they're now getting into back markers, Greg. They're getting into traffic, and we're going to see how this one plays out as they head down into turn 7. Look at Uribe. He's so deep in there. That's going to allow this whole group to go by him now.
There goes Jason Uribe. Outbroke himself. Up and out of the saddle is Braden Ort. So Ort right now saving a high side, and Shane Richardson's got to get right around him.
Yep, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Shane's got himself into second now, and Andrew Lee's back there. Braden's now trying to go underneath Shane. He can't. Now Andrew Lee's behind Uribe with Michael Gilbert right behind him and Nick McFadden right behind him. Michael Gilbert has got past Nick McFadden sometime here in our last lap. But here we go. Jason's into traffic as they head down into turn 11.
Modesto, California's John Knowles on the Riders Law Racing machine, the next victim on this hit list for this group of Superstock 600 riders.
And that's a huge pass for Jason as he heads up the hill. That's going to balk these other guys up just a little bit. Let's see what happens. Shane Richardson's able to go through, and you can see the rest of this pack just right around the outside there.
Fifth place now on the racetrack as we have Garrett Gerloff 2.7 seconds adrift of JD Beach, who's 4.7 ahead of Valentin DeBees, and Benny Solis another 13 seconds back. So this is the battle for fifth on the racetrack and for Superstock 600 supremacy. Who is going to stand on top of the podium in that class? Let's take a look at this pass into turn number 1. Good commitment.
That's a great pass by Jason there. He had to make that pass. Aguilar had to get through on that back marker before that corner, otherwise it would close that group up even more. But it looked like Knowles was able to get out of the way of all the other riders as they headed up to turn 2.
Back up front to take a look at Garrett Gerloff and the riding that he's been doing, putting in lap after lap. His best lap, a 37.1 when push came to shove, when he had to get through traffic. Now 37.7 last time around. So Garrett's also working his way through traffic, but he's that first rider going through traffic, and now it's a 3.6 second gap between himself and JD Beach, who just lost about 1 second. And then it's this rider, M4X Star Suzuki's from France, Valentin DeBees.
Then we got Benny Solis still holding on to 4, soldiering on, doing a great job. He's got 38.4 today, so he's just about, he's a second off of what the guys at the front are doing even right now. And here we go, it's that Superstock battle, and you can see Jason Aguilar has not got away from Shane Richardson. Jason Uribe still right behind those guys, and then you got 3 more Superstock riders just behind him.
Uribe was actually able to get past Braden Orr. So he actually shuffled Braden Orr back. So the 555 not able to hold on to the pace, at least at this part of the race. 14 of 19. So we have basically 5.5 laps to go in this one.
Jason Uribe, he's just in that spot where he's just a tick slower than these guys, just a little bit, and he runs wide there, and it looked like he took Ort wide with him. That's going to allow Andrew Lee to slide through. It looked like the third, but there's the move. Shane Richardson, is he going to do it?
Oh, that's close.
It's a close pass, but that's the spot where he looks like he's just going to be able to try to do something with him, and you see Uribe still back there right behind these guys. He still wants to fight for that top 5 position.
Jason Uribe in those red leathers. Okay, so back to Andrew Lee on the 100, 555 Braden Orr, and Michael Gilbert on the 55. So Gilbert, who's just had to work and work and work to get up to this pack, starting to work his way towards the front, towards that 5th place spot. And there's Nick McFadden.
Just pounding up the laps as Nick. He's just lost touch with these guys now a little bit. But if he can try to these guys get in each other's way at all, it's going to bring Nick McFadden right back into it. But at the front of that pack, you can see there's Michael, and there goes Braden Orr. Braden's just gone backwards a little bit here these last couple of laps. Shane Richardson having a look. And Jason runs just a little bit wide. Shouldn't hurt him, though. When you go through that turn a little bit wide, they're going all the way back to first gear, Greg, so you can get the throttle picked up pretty early there still. And we're going to see now Andrew Lee is taking that 3rd spot in Superstock and see if he can close up on the back of these 3 guys in front of him.
And drag Gilbert up with him. Well, they just did their personal fastest laps.
Yes, they did. And both of those guys felt yesterday that they could get away if they could get to the front. The hard part is just getting to the front of this pack because there's just so much jostling going on. But Shane Richardson right now, I'm looking at the pace at the front. Aguilar went 40.8 that last lap. Everybody behind him 40.1, including Jason Uribe 40.1. Here comes Shane Richardson again. He's not close enough this lap, or is he, Greg?
Well, that's a tough pass to make. Wow.
He's setting up for it,
You've got to commit to that pass. Plus, there's some bumps up there, as we saw yesterday in the Superbike race.
Look at this race, and Michael Gilbert trying to go around the outside of Andrew Lee right now. Uribe is going to try to go up underneath Shane Richardson as he sends it off in there. Is he close enough? He's going to go by. Shane's going to cut it back underneath him, it looks like.
Uribe just not able to yar that motorcycle down as Gilbert now moves right behind Jason Uribe. So Uribe has plans of his own, but Gilbert could spoil him.
Well, he's close enough as they come down through these S's right now as Michael Gilbert to maybe do something. But Jason Uribe pulls away just a little bit from them. And it's just, again, all these guys are starting to bunch up on each other.
If you're Shane Richardson, the 26 on that Kawasaki behind him, you've got to be thinking thinking to yourself, well, if I get ahead of Jason Aguilar, I know that in this corner, Aguilar has that particular move where he can outbrake him. So Shane Richardson just likes that tighter line. He's able to get the bike turned, where Aguilar's using a little bit more on that exit, and it all seems equal.
Yeah, and all those guys still coming across the line together. This is great for Jason Uribe because he's a young guy too, and he's having a blast racing against all these guys. And look, when we really talk about it, there's not much between a Supersport bike and a Superstock bike. You can see it in the lap times. So the fact that he's getting a chance to really dice it up with these other 5 riders is outstanding. But he's got Michael right behind him now, and Michael's going to want to try to do something to get to the front of these guys. There's only 4 laps to go. Oh. Shane just keeps trying, Greg.
Sorry, it looked like for a second that Gilbert was going to get past Uribe as they're side by side. So there goes the 55 with a good set of moves. He set that one up 2 corners earlier, Jason.
Yes, he did, and this is where he's really good, Greg. He's excellent out of this carousel. Just now, we saw him right, and Andrew Lee is now trying to go underneath Jason Uribe in the middle of the carousel.
Uribe almost runs out of track as Andrew Lee drives him out wide. And Uribe again on the brakes. He just can't get that motorcycle to stop in that corner for him, and he keeps having to drag it back down to that second apex.
Yep, that's exactly right. It's just really hard. He's just braking so deep in there, Greg. It's just taking him past that first apex at the corner. And here you go. These guys are all coming down now into turn 9. What's going to happen? Braden Ort's behind him. He's trying to look for a way through on Uribe himself. But now, let's see what Shane Richardson's going to do. Andrew Lee is right up the back of Michael Gilbert. What a battle in Superstock right now. Shane's getting a good drive out of turn 10. Not quite close enough. These guys are going to be coming around here in a minute. 3 laps to go in this battle. And Greg, just up the road from them, probably about a second and a half, is 3 or 4 or 5 back markers that are going to all come into play probably on this lap.
If it ends right now, it's the 96 of Jason Aguilar and the Riders Law Aguilar Racing Yamaha.
And our winner from yesterday, Braden Ort, is still in this.
He is. He is
right
holding
there
on as the 36 of Jason Uribe has been roughed up by a talented field of Superstock 600 riders. I almost had to stop talking because Shane Richardson was about to make that move.
It's that good of a race, Greg, where it probably wouldn't hurt us to shut up for a minute or so. We're going to get our voices back. Here we go. And Andrew Lee's going to try the same move on Michael Gilbert that Shane Richardson's trying to do. Not quite there. Now, this is where Michael's good.
Where you going, Michael?
He's going to try to carry all that momentum and do something with Shane as they get down into turn 7. He's got the run, Greg.
And he's got position.
Only got to get up alongside of him. Is he able to get up alongside of him?
He does. So Gilbert, if he can get that motorcycle stopped, he now moves to 6th overall, 2nd in class. Boy, what a charge Michael Gilbert's been able to put on.
Yeah, unbelievable. He's come from so far back, and now he's going to be on the back of Jason Aguilar. Now, the thing is, Greg, he's going to look up the track. See those back markers? Michael's got a great drive as they come up over turn 9. Is he close enough? He's trying to do it.
Oh, it's close. Aguilar tips it in. So it looks like Jason Aguilar is going to have the first go at this lap traffic, and it's going to be in the spot that he loves. As they come into the final corner of this racetrack, Aguilar trying to dive bomb into that apex. They don't quite get to those back markers just yet.
And they're going to get him in a horrible spot, Greg. Right here at the end of the front straightaway, and they head up the hill, and you can see it's Josh Picard going underneath Mark Rhodes. They're in their own battle. That's going to bring all this group together. They've got to be able to get by all these guys as clean as they can. Josh is going to, he kind of gets out of the way a little bit there.
Good move by Aguilar. Oh!
And here comes Michael. He's doing everything he can to go around the outside. Shane Richardson's going to go underneath Picard as they go into turn 3.
That was busy, but it was pretty clean.
Yep, very, very clean by all parties. Here comes Michael into turn 4. He's going to try to go underneath Aguilar.
Whoa! Can Gilbert turn it and take over the lead in Superstock 600? So Michael Gilbert gets it done right now. And here comes Shane Richardson again.
And this now look at the gap. This is the gap that he needs to pull through this turn. And if he's going to be smart, he's got to get to these back markers before Aguilar can do anything with him down into turn 11. But look at the gap, Greg, that he pulled out.
Last lap of this race, and our leader is Garrett Gerloff. And Gerloff, who's got about a 7.4 second lead over JD Beach as we get back to this battle.
And Gilbert's got to go through 2 back markers right now. If he's able to get by these guys before turn 9 and the other guys get held up at all going down in through turn 9, that is going to be the the race for him. And you can see he got by one. And look at Shane Richardson trying to go around the outside. He's able to make it. They've caught Gage Reese now. Michael's going to try to sling back up underneath here. He's going to go around the outside. Oh! That is great.
That's a lot of trust.
Sketch.
A lot of trust. Here comes Aguilar. He's trying to dive bomb it on this last lap. And it's Michael Gilbert who gets through. Did Aguilar lose a position to Shane Richardson? To the line they go.
One lap to go for this big battle. Shane Richardson has now moved himself into second place as he goes around the outside. Andrew Lee is going to sneak by Jason Aguilar as he gets a bad drive out of turn one.
So this continues to go on and on. We don't want it to stop, but it's got to.
Nolan Lampkin gets out of the way beautifully there for this big pack of guys that are all just chasing and fighting for this victory in Superstock right now. Best race of the year, Greg.
Gerloff 7.4 seconds ahead of JD Beach and Valentin DeBees. We're looking at this battle for 5th place and the win in Superstock 600. It has been an affair of roughing people up. Here is our race leader, Garrett Gerloff, coming through the final corner, and he will take victory, his 2nd in a row here at Sonoma Raceway. Takes the checkered flag and the victory.
Great race from Garrett Gerloff there. I mean, just a dominant weekend. Good for JD Beach. JD Beach lost 10 points this weekend, but there's still 6 rounds to go. That guy right there knows that he can still win this championship.
So JD Beach comes across the line, and here comes Valentin DeBees, the 53. Takes 3rd place, and that fills the overall podium in Supersport. Back to the Superstock battle.
Andrew Lee has worked an 8. Braden Nort's going underneath Aguilar. Aguilar's lost 4 spots in the last 3 laps. Andrew Lee trying to get his first podium ever. Right now, Michael Gilbert winning. Andrew Lee is in 2nd. Shane, is he going to try to do anything? Andrew holds him off going into the last corner.
And Jason Aguilar not going to be able to do it. So here we go. It's Michael Gilbert who takes his 3rd win of 2017. Wow. In the Superstock 600 class, and will finish 5th overall. Then it's Andrew Lee, Shane Richardson, Braden Nort, Jason Aguilar, and Jason Uribe will come in 10th with Nick McFadden in 11th. Dion Campbell, Ashton Yates will hold on to 13th spot. Some of those lap traffic are in, as Garrett Gerloff was able to lap all the way up to 15th spot in this race.
It's unbelievable. This guy here, man, he's really shown stuff in the last few rounds, Greg. I mean, at Laguna Seca, setting lap records during the race, setting lap records here during the race. I mean, what a weekend. 37.1 was his quickest lap, which is quicker than qualifying yesterday, and just does the double, and an amazing job.
Garrett Gerloff with the victory, and in the record books it'll say 8.004 seconds. For the man from Texas, Monster Energy, Yamalu, YES, Graves, Yamaha. And the competitors have got to be looking across the table, thinking to themselves, with 3 rounds to go, we've got to figure something out. We'll take a break here on beIN Sports. When we come back, we're going to hear from the #1 plate.